A deep loneliness haunts the modern world. It comes from feeling like a single mind in a lifeless cosmos. This sense of separation is the result of a story we've been made to tell ourselves for hundreds of years, one that teaches we are apart from nature. But wouldn't you know it? There is another way, a worldview our ancestors were familiar with, intimately. This perspective argues that the universe is fundamentally alive and in a relationship with you. In this video, we will explore animism, a worldview embodied through thousands of years of lived experience. Stay till the end and find 2 hands-on experiments so you can really feel everything we're about to talk about for yourself. For the last few hundred years, the dominant story in the West has been one of separation. One guy that was the reason this narrative has been powerfully reinforced was the philosopher René Descartes. He argued that the universe is made of 2 totally separate things, mind and machine. With that single idea, he essentially declared the material world as mindless or non-living. The human mind became the sole possessor of consciousness, while everything else, animals, as well as plants, rivers, and mountains, was demoted to a lifeless or unconscious object. This led us to see the world, in the words of cultural historian Thomas Berry, as a collection of objects for our use, losing sight of its nature as a communion of subjects to be related to. In today's trying times, we look at a forest or a river and see a resource, nothing more. The result of living this way is that aforementioned loneliness, the feeling of being a single mind floating in a dead cosmos. So you see, being taught that we are fundamentally separate from nature has in turn alienated us from it. Many of our ancestors and cultures still thriving today know a different, more connected story. And that other story is animism, which can best be approached as a relational worldview. Contemporary anthropology has moved beyond defining animism as a simple belief in spirits. It is now understood as a sophisticated reality where the world is full of beings, only some of whom are human. The other beings possess their own presence and agency, and our lives are built upon our relationships with them. The philosopher Martin Buber called that an I-thou relationship. In an I-it relationship, an it is an object for analysis and use. A tree eventually becomes a plank or paper. A mountain becomes a mineral deposit. But a thou is a being you encounter, one with whom you can relate. In animism, the tree is a presence that gives shade and breath, while the mountain is an ancient being that shapes the weather. You are in a relationship with a thou. This new animism is a vibrant field in modern thought, inspiring people in philosophy and even legal studies. Did you know that in 2017, New Zealand passed a law that recognized the Wanganui River as a legal person, granting it the same rights and responsibilities as a human? This was the result of a decades-long fight by the Maori people, who have always thought of the river as their ancestor. This view is woven into cultures worldwide. And mind you, most of these cultures have never interacted with each other in the worldly plane. We find it in rituals asking lakes for blessings and in the traditions of the Boer people of Burkina Faso, who know that spirits can inhabit ceremonial masks. It's also present in many Shinto, Buddhist, and Hindu traditions that recognize other worlds and beings interacting with our own. Therefore, animism is all about living in a responsive world. This all sounds amazing, but how do we go from understanding it intellectually to actually feeling it? How do we reawaken that relational sense sleeping inside us? Seeing a world of subjects doesn't require you to believe a single thing. It is a felt sense that you can build with practice. And by the way, if this idea of changing perception is sparking something in you, we now offer a custom SnakeSpeak meditation just for you. All infos are in the description box below. The first experiment, we at SnakeSpeak call it, is the thing to presence method. Find an object near you, like a coffee cup or a stone from the garden. Got one? Good. Now, for the next 60 seconds, just be with it. Try to let go of its label and its function. Move beyond seeing a cup for drinking or a plant that needs water. Just be with it. Notice its texture. Is it smooth or rough? Notice the light bouncing off its surface. Observe its shape and feel its weight. Is it cold or hot, or maybe none of it? Let go of all the labels your mind is desperate to slap on it and just allow it to be a presence in the room with you. What did you notice? Did you feel something change? From seeing an inert thing to feeling a presence. That feeling right there is the beginning of the transformation from seeing an it to encountering a thou. It is your first step into an animistic perception. Now for the second experiment, which you can try later or right now, whatever floats your boat. This one is called the Place Inquiry Walk. Animism is often tied to specific places and landscapes, so-called places of power. So the next time you take a walk, whether in a forest or just around your city block, try this. Instead of getting lost in your own head, ask the place itself a question. What are you asking of me? And then, just listen. Listen with all of your senses. Don't strain for a voice in your head. The answer might come as the feeling of the wind on your skin, or the sound of a distant bird. You might notice a weed cracking through the pavement, or the smell of rain on hot asphalt. Receive all of this as the place itself speaking back in its own language. And yes, all this might sound somewhat silly, but just try it. What have you got to lose? If nothing happens, you are still present right there in the moment. These experiments are simple ways to change the channel of your perception. They are training wheels for relearning a language you already know, deep down. When you start to practice seeing this way, the world slowly starts to change. Or rather, you realize it was never what you thought it was. What once seemed mechanical and empty begins to reveal itself as brimming with life and intelligence. Over time, even that feeling of utter loneliness starts to disappear, replaced by a deep sense of belonging. You are part of an interconnected community of beings after all, so how can you ever be alone? The drive to exploit and dominate the natural world will be replaced by a natural sense of respect and reciprocity. You wouldn't poison a being you consider family, and in the same vein, you wouldn't clear-cut a forest you experience as a living elder. Right? Life eventually changes from a monologue shouted into a void to an ongoing dialogue. You are a subject in a collection of subjects, each with its own wisdom and its own right to exist. So, animism is a perception you cultivate through practice, going beyond simple belief. The only thing missing now might be the non-dual perspective. This is the gut-level feeling that the line between you and the world is much thinner than you've been told. And who knows, you might even come to see yourself as a unique expression of the universe in human form. The world has a voice. We've just forgotten how to listen. The wind, the rivers, the trees, they are speaking all the time. Perhaps it's time we rejoin the conversation. We'd love to know what your experience was with the experiments, especially that first one. Did you feel that subtle move from thing to presence? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you feel drawn to move beyond just understanding these pointers intellectually, if you want to truly see for yourself what you already are, we've put together a structured digital retreat to help guide that deeper unfolding. It's designed to gently take you from conceptual glimpses into a more direct, lived recognition of your true nature. We use clear, straightforward guidance combined with guided meditations that invite you to rest in what's already here. You can find the full retreat linked in the description below. And if you prefer to listen without any music or background sound, we now offer audio-only versions of the newest videos. They're available exclusively on Patreon. Check the description for all the details and how to access them.